good morning, everybody. Welcome to Selling St. Louis. It's great to see so many people here with us in person. We have dozens more that are joining us virtually. Todd, we have 170 people registered for this event, and I can't thank you and the team at HSMAI Missouri enough for your partnership in putting on this program today. So I'd be remiss if I didn't introduce this morning one of the newest members, in fact, the newest member of our team, Mr. Dave Duncan. Please stand up. I can't see you in the darkness through the lights. Mr. Dave Duncan, our new Chief Sales Officer for Explore St. Louis. Give him a big round of applause because this is a homecoming for Dave. And he's borrowing a chapter out of my playbook. He's living right next door at the Laurel apartment building, and his commute is 25 steps right across 7th Street. And you'll have a front row seat to see some of the AC Next Gen improvements that are going to be unfolding here at America Center. And I also want to give a shout out. We have dozens of people as expressed online, including our acting VP of Sales, Eric Janicki, that is going to be transitioning with Dave for the next several weeks. We also have many representatives from Hyatt, from Hilton, from a variety of other brands, including Marriott and Four Seasons, that are joining us virtually to learn what we're up to here in St. Louis and the tipping point that we're reaching and the momentum that we're experiencing right now in our community. So without further ado, I want to introduce a good friend and colleague who is going to introduce our opening keynote, Todd Hodling, VP of Revenue and Marketing for LHM and President of HSMAI Missouri. Todd.
Thank you very much, Brian, for that intro. So I serve as the chapter president for HSMAI Missouri, and we do three things. We want to engage with our local hospitality community, that's you all. We want to educate, and we want to inspire. And all the factors that we faced as an industry the past couple of years, and we probably will continue to face in the next few years. It's no time, now is a great time to become a member of HSMAI because of all the resources that we provide for our members, whether it's educational events and additional inspiration for you and your teams to kind of work through this, to be educated and to be informed as we push through. And I think, Brian, there's probably no other time in our industry where we're going to see this type of growth we've seen this past year and for years to come, right? Right. And so I'd love to introduce Sydney Novotny, guys. She's the radical mentor. She never stops, okay? If you saw her outside, I think she shook everyone's hand and introduced herself to everyone. We love that passion, right? She says it like it is, helps people thrive and find success in their professional and personal lives. She's the founder of Master Connection Associates. She's an icon in the hospitality and events industry, specializing in leadership, sales, and customer service excellence. She's a force to be reckoned with and brings a stage alive with energy and passion. Let's welcome Sydney.
All right, good morning. Hello. Wake up, guys. This is like how to sell St. Louis, isn't that right? So a couple fun facts. Some people know this, but I met my husband in St. Louis. So, meet me in St. Louis, right? I think it's kind of cool. So for those of you that don't know me, I do travel the world. I have only been in my own bed 8 days this year in Southern California, but that's okay because it's California. We're kind of a hot mess right now, but don't worry about it. And I can also tell you that I never stopped. So during COVID, I continued to move on. We have a restaurant. I never closed it down in spite of everything going on in California. In 2020, did 650 webinars for all of our clients, free. I never worked so hard for free. And I continued to travel and helped all of our hotels, if they were on an ocean, if they were in Texas or Florida or in parts of the country that had a lot of open space, and they were resorts and had villas, we kept those going, and yet we worked on the property. So when I say the best is yet to come, I genuinely mean that. If you continued working through this time, you know that you have a ton of passion because you might have gotten a little tired, right? If you got furloughed and you're back, you have passion because you came back, because some of your friends are selling real estate. Isn't that right? Yes. So the idea of what we are seeing today is a sense of urgency. I said that whatever comes in fast goes out fast. That's like a V. And people argued with me. This is not 2 weeks to flatten the curve. This isn't going to happen. I said, I didn't say 2 weeks. Like I've been through H1N1, swine flu, bird flu, and Zika. I mean, during the Olympics, I had to go to the Copacabana Palace in Rio and with the CDC, try to teach the front desk how to explain which mosquito has Zika and which doesn't. No, do you understand that? Like, come on. I said to the guy with the CDC, really? What am I supposed to tell them? He goes, well, the mosquito that carries Zika only flies 3 miles. I said, oh, so do you tag them? I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to say to a guest checking in during the Olympics, like I'm nervous that I'm going to get my mosquito. I basically said, you should be more nervous about we're fogging this lobby with some chemical that's killing the mosquito and probably us. I don't know. So I absolutely didn't think it was going to be 2 weeks to flatten the curve, but I knew it came in so fast that it would go out fast. Now, again, every day you wake up to the news and they've added a new variant and new this, right? They keep adding initials to this stuff, right? They do. So they try to continue to push us in the travel and hospitality industry to a point of breaking, but we can't break. Because if you're sitting here today or listening virtually, you obviously have passion and grit because we're tough. Is that not right? In hospitality, we have the highest highs and the lowest lows. One day we're a hero, everything's great. The next day it all falls apart and people cancel and then they never pay us. So the idea is that we were not trained for this. Hence why I called our governor's office every single day in California and said, Mr. Newsom, I'm just checking in. Of course, I never chatted with him. I would just like to know, we have the book. I have a fire life safety book, earthquake preparedness. I've got all the books. Do you have a COVID book? Ma'am, no, we don't. I said, well, I just need to know the rules. You know, I've got all my employees working. We're taking all precautions. They're wearing gloves and masks. And, you know, we got the city gave us 4 parking stalls right in front of the restaurant that we've created the coolest, sexiest rooftop bar on the ground. And we're going to keep it forever. We now got it permanent. Right. So now we went from 140 seats to 260 more seats to 200 seats. Things are good. Prior to COVID, if you stepped over the threshold of our restaurant with a drink in your hand, ABC would shut us down. Now we're just like Vegas. We got a bar in the corner. I mean, life's good. You know, they drive up, the Real Housewives of Orange County. They film there. They get their cocktails to go because they can't make a mojito at home. They don't know how. So everything is like, it's kind of the wild, wild west. So the entire world was shut down. And think about it. But I never shut down. And yet, so many people in this industry that got laid off, got furloughed, didn't follow my lead prior to COVID. I said to every person I've ever trained, and some of them are in this room and some of them might be listening, don't stop being present. I don't care if you're the biggest cheese in the room. I don't care who you are. Your social media has got to be relevant. And I would hear people, well, I mean, I've been in this business so long, you know, I've lived in 12 countries, speak 87 languages, and I'm just that. And then it was shut down and done. So I was reinventing people's LinkedIn pages, Instagram pages. They had no footage, nothing. They had nothing. And trying to get them relevant. Well, see, sales is all about presence. Marketing is all about presence. Operations, operational resilience. Right now, we are dealing in a time where if I hear it once, I've heard it 100,000 times and I'm done. It's coming at me like a fire hose. You have no idea. The leads, overwhelming. Well, thank God we have leads, because just a few years ago, there was no leads. The good news is, after the break, I'm going to show you how to handle those leads. Because I'm going to tell you right now, success is simple if you know how to organize your day and time to seriously be consciously competent, to know exactly what you're doing. Because if you're lucky and fortunate enough to be getting inquiries, take them, but don't forget, you've got to be proactive in finding other business, which we'll talk about. So I look at it this way. I made a breakthrough in 2020. In March 13th, I was in Dubai of 2020, giving a huge speech to 1,000 people in the luxury wedding industry at Engage. the Luxury Wedding Summit. We're dancing outside, 110 degrees, sweating, hugging, kissing. You know what I mean? You know what we do, right? On the top of the Burj Al Khalif, right? There we are having a grand old time. When we left and got on the plane, we knew that, there was the threat of a pandemic, and still 1,000 people showed up. So I was staying at the Armani Hotel. I'm friends with the GM. The GM, I was supposed to stay a day longer. My husband was with me, who also works in our company. He called and said, you have to leave today. There's a flight booked for you on Emirates. I was going to London because I was reopening the Mandarin Oriental. And because they had been shut down months prior because there had been a fire in the hotel. We were doing an all employee kind of get everybody excited. I said, why do we have to leave today? And he said, they're shutting Dubai down. Now I considered staying. You know what I'm saying? No, I thought, wow, I mean, my daughter's grown. Somebody was already taking care of the dogs. I mean, I just might stay, less of food and good Lebanese food. I thought, great. And so I said, okay. So I got on the plane, my husband and I. It was one of those massive, Emirates double deckers. We landed in Heathrow. Everybody started to take off their seatbelt to get up and to get off the plane. The pilot came on and said, no, not so fast. Everybody stay seated. You're going to go through customs on the plane. Now I have 2 passports. I have every visa you could imagine, from Russia to Brazil to China. And I'd been in China a month before. My husband looked at me and he said, well, I'll see you at the hotel. I said, what does that mean? He goes, I think they're going to pull people that have been in China recently. I said, well, you're my husband. I mean, you can't just leave. He goes, no, we work together. I go, wow. It's not very husbandly of you. So sure enough, we get up there. They look at his passport. He goes one way. They look at mine. I go the other way. Now talk about profiling. People get all about profiling. It was me and 150 Chinese people. It was my best prospecting I've done lately. You should have seen it. We had 2 hours together. I had all my business cards in my purse. We chatted. I kept saying, now, why are you here? They go, why are you here? I go, well, because I spend months in China. They go, I haven't even been to China. That's what one person said. I go, I know this is really bad. I think we were the first people tested. They came in hazmat suits, up the nose. You know what I mean? Now it's like normal. Now it's a good cleaning out. You're like, okay, fine. But then it was shocking. But then I flew back. I said to our partner, it's my husband, myself, and Dave Hanna, who owns the restaurant. I said, we're not shutting down. And both my husband and Dave said, that's ridiculous. We have to. I said, where's the email? Where's the memo? I called the health department. Well, we really don't know. I went to the police, chief of police across the street. I said, what's going to happen? He said, well, we don't know. I just stay open. So I took that for okay. I don't know. So I said, let's shut the restaurant down for April, right? This was March. We will gut it, clean it. Cause restaurants, let's be honest. We did have a lot of health awards and our cleanliness were really good. But if you have a month to shut down, and we, took out the back bar, the nail salon went out of business next to us. We created a ghost kitchen, which I love that whole ghost kitchen concept. And then we started doing cater out, which was so great. But we're a USDA prime steakhouse. So doing to go is difficult. And I'm dealing with the Real Housewives of Orange County. So as an example, I'm taking all the reservations and, bless them. But, we have burrata and Brussels sprouts as one of our big appetizers. Well, we couldn't get burrata. So they ordered burrata and Brussels sprouts. I said, well, we don't have the burrata. Why not? I said, well, we're in a pandemic. Did you know that? You can't get toilet paper. Why do you think you can get burrata? Okay. Now, because Cisco was delivering to all the restaurants, we had all the toilet paper we needed. We actually didn't need to worry about toilet paper. So what I was doing is I had to also get rid of all that meat that I had when we shut down. So I set up a little market. That's another thing my husband said. I don't think you can sell food. You don't have a license. I said, it's the wild, wild west. It's like the days of prohibition. I can sell whatever I want. So I would package 4 fillets and 4 rolls of toilet paper. No, I had a breakthrough experience. But the biggest breakthrough was my today team and my tomorrow team. I have 4 servers out of 40 people in my restaurant, including cooks and bussers and bartenders and servers. 4 of them make bank. We're talking 6 figures. They've worked for me seriously for 10 years. The high rollers throw the big dollars at them. Can you picture it? So I get them all on a Zoom call. I said, here's the deal, guys. We're going to shut down for April. We've got the PPP. So what I'll do is I'll pay you to come in. We're going to paint. We're going to create a takeout window, a concierge desk. We're going to do all this cool stuff. And what we need you to do is come in and we can pay you. So the 4, what about tips? I said, what do you mean tips? Gratuities. I said, from who? Well, are you going to offset that? I said, with what? We're paying rent. We have no customers. We're having to buy, because the PPP doesn't pay for paint. We have to pay for all that. And we're going to pay you. Well, we'll come back when you open. I said, you'll never come back. Now, my lawyer, I'm bruised still. I mean, the kicking that people do to me. I said, no, you're not coming back. Because I had all the other ones vying for those tables. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so excited. You're going to finally leave because you know how that goes. Well, sure enough, we opened May 1. We never shut down, even though our governor shut us down 7 times. We stayed open the entire time. Those 4 showed up. I said, your jobs have already been replaced. You see, there was a today team and a tomorrow team. And the tomorrow team is where we are right now. Because when you think about breakthrough, when you think about those of us that did it, those of us that said it couldn't be done, better get out of the way of those of us that did it. Isn't that right? Action that moves someone through an obstacle, that is breakthrough. And truly, if you think about it, every single one of you have the ability to encourage, to enlighten. Right now, I'm traveling around and speaking at high schools. I'm trying to get people excited about the hospitality industry for years. And I still, in 2 weeks, I speak at Cornell. I speak at Lausanne in Switzerland, all the big hotel schools. But now I'm going to high schools. And I'm like, if you don't want to go to university, okay, let's get you into a career in hospitality. Because let's think about it. We need people, but we need people with passion, right? We need leaders that can mentor. I mean, you know how many young people are in this industry now that don't have a clue? Sorry, but you don't. You don't know. You need a mentor. If you've only been in the business a couple of years, you can't possibly know all the landmines and what to do. You've got the energy, you've got the smarts, you might have the education, but what we need to do is we need to create remarkable results. Remarkable. Because there's not an owner out there. And I'm dealing with more owners today than I ever dealt with. During COVID, they lifted up the hood and they looked into all the hotels and right. And even with Encore and all our clients that we do, all the DMCs and DMOs, and they looked under the hood and it's like, what does she do? What does he do? Like what? Well, they handle a vertical market. Smurf. What is that? You know, because the owner, they didn't know Smurf. Well, half the people doing Smurf didn't know Smurf. And all of a sudden, it became very clear that we have to change because we got to get better, better, better. Not just, I will be good. We have to help people get better. And that's what this is all about. This is working together as a team. That's what HSMAI is all about. You know, right before in 2019, I was given a Lifetime Achievement Award from HSMAI for sales. I said, well, does that mean like I'm old and I'm done? I don't, what? They go, no, it's lifetime. I go, well, that means I'm old. They go, no. Well, I go, well, if I'd only been here like 10 years, would it be lifetime? Probably not. You see, my goal as a director of sales and marketing, as an owner of a company, is always to help you. But there's some people that just think they've got it all done. I don't know if you've met them. Been there, done that, got a t-shirt to prove it. You know what I mean? So we have to get better at understanding what this community, what this city is all about. You have a ton of competition. But right now, and again, I'm a Midwest girl. I have a farm in Iowa, a house in northern Michigan. I spend as much time as I can, and my farm is a working farm. Cattle, so those that say we're getting rid of cows, not my cows. Corn, soybean. Now I don't, do some of the work myself, if you know what I mean. But we're no longer the flyover states. Isn't that what they called us? Oh, the flyover states. I live in California, and that's what the Californians and the New Yorkers always said, oh, the flyover states. Plenty that they're all moving. Right now, my farm in beautiful little Swisher, Iowa, 200 acres between Cedar Rapids and Iowa City, has become the place for outdoor venue. Because that's what I did during COVID. It's a 100-year-old Century Farm, completely renovated. Unbelievable for weddings, corporate, tons of insurance companies. AIG moved there to Cedar Rapids. So I just went around. My husband said, you're absolutely out of your mind. How we can't do this. I said, I'm not going to do the catering or anything. I got catering people, tending people. They're going to do it. All I'm going to do is have the people sign, say, if you fall down, not my problem. You know what I mean? And now it's hot. This is what you have to think about St. Louis. You are selling an incredible destination. And I'm not just saying that. Again, I met my husband here. I have spent a lot of time here. I've worked with the Four Seasons when it first opened. I actually think this is one of the best cities for meetings, for corporate travel, for events. but you have to get better at selling it. Every one of you, not just selling your own venue, your own hotel. You have to work better as a team. You also have to be a force to be reckoned with, because come on, Chicago, look who, Indianapolis, all the ones around you, Kansas City, everybody tries to be like big, bold, and bad. Isn't that right? Well, you get to be big, bold, and bad better if you work together. You have to build stronger relationships, because I think that the big deal is that when business was great in 2019, some people were successful in spite of themselves. So then when COVID hit and we all were put back to zero, everybody was the same, the whole world, we came back to a world that we were never used to. So this is your time. And that's what I mean about the best days are yet to come. I do truly believe business is personal. When people say to me, oh, I don't take it personally, I do. I spend more time at work than I do even at home. I wrote a book, Living with No Balance and Loving It, right? I've been married a long time to the same guy. It works. Traveling works. Business is personal. So when you love your city, when you love your destination, when you love where you work, when you absolutely know every single neighborhood and can talk about them, and the messaging rolls off your tongue, and you can talk about everything you're going to hear about, you know, even from Brian, you're going to hear that you've got to be better at truly selling it. You've got to connect with customers all over. So let me tell you what happened in Miami yesterday, well, the day before, when I landed Sunday. I was there to speak to another big, huge DMC group. There was like over 200 people there, but there's also the National Association of Swimwear there. And so at this particular big hotel on the beach in South Beach, a meetings hotel, but right now leisure's kicking it. Isn't that right? But leisure's starting to flatten out a little. So we need group business, by the way. Because as people start cruising and traveling to Europe, all of a sudden leisure will slow down. We need a good basic group business. So I check into the hotel. I need to get the FedEx box that's been sent to me because we're doing this whole training. And the girl at the front desk said, oh, well, the FedEx, this is Sunday and the FedEx office closed at 1. I said, well, I need my FedEx box. I smile, of course. I never swear and never get mad. I just smile. She goes, well, you can't get it. I said, no, I'm going to get it. Just so you know. Because I actually can find the back of the house to get in from another door. So either I break in or you help me get there legitimately. She looked at me. I'll call a manager. I said, good idea. Then the manager comes over. You know, he's like, Mr. I'm something, you know, Mr. South Beach. Is there a problem? I said, no, there's no problem. I need you to open up the FedEx office and get my box. Here's the tracking number. This is what I need. Well, it closed at 1 o'clock. I said, you're a meetings hotel. Isn't that right? You have 2 floors of ballroom space. Is that right? Yeah. He goes, but we're really busy with leisure business. I said, today. I said, in acting like this, you won't have any group business. So open the FedEx office. Okay, ma'am, absolutely, right away. Now, I shouldn't even have to get mad, but business is personal. And I'm going to tell you right now that the way you connect is you are in it to win it. So now, second part of the story, I get my FedEx box. I go down to get in, the driver's taking me to the venue because we're going to go over and, you know, where they've got all the art, where Art Basel goes on and they paint, you know, all the graffiti, and it's so cool. We're going to paint a wall and do all this stuff. So I go to get in the car to go over there, and there's 4 women, you know, probably like in their late 30s, early 40s, standing in the lobby. I come off the elevator like, oh my God, I can't believe you're here. They're hugging me. I'm hugging them. I just hug people. Doesn't even matter if I know them. I don't know them at all, but they're hugging me. Oh my God, I haven't seen you for so long. We're so excited you're going to be speaking. Well, I am speaking, but I think I'm speaking I think they're at my group. So after like 10 minutes of talking about nothing, I said, I don't think you know me. They go, yeah, aren't you the vice president of everything but water? I go, like the bathing suit store? And then I felt kind of good, maybe. I sucked in immediately. I said, well, no, I'm not, but here's my card. And who is speaking? They go, I don't know, but somebody's doing like a speak. I go, well, who do I call? Because I need to speak at that next year. See, there's not a day that goes by you don't meet somebody who can use your city. But you have to be present. Relationships have to be engaging. You have to be connected. So personal, let's look at it. When you meet with somebody, and I chatted with several of you, and we had a lot in common on different things. When you meet with somebody that you have a lot in common with, it's personal. But then you start to look at professional, and you understand that that personal connection literally bridges over to what business could be. You sell fun. You sell great experiences. You sell food and beverage and music and sports. Who wouldn't want to talk to you? You know, I also do training for Siemens Medical Solutions, heart valves. Not as fun. You know, you meet somebody at a cocktail party. Hi, how's your ticker? Right? I teach lawyers, young associates coming out of law school, how to work a room to network because they can't make cold calls. That is like unbelievable because we go, they can, you know, I say, you have to get a drink. Okay. You don't, it doesn't have to be alcohol, but you have to hold something. And then I walk with them, you know, through and we chat. I get more leads from this networking than they do. And they, what do I say? I said, you engage with people like, hi, get to know them. Like about a what? I said, life. Because you can't just say, do you have anyone to sue? I'm an attorney. So business is personal, and the trends that are happening now are changing by the hour. The minute you think that you know everything, it changes. It changes. But I will tell you that what we are seeing come back is professionalism. I'm doing more etiquette training than we've ever done. I'm doing presentation skill training for executives that forgot how to give a speech and give a presentation to owners and employees. During the Zoom time, what was that? Oh, sorry, on my messy bun, I just got back from a run. Really? I don't even run, so I don't even know how, whatever. Like you're working from home. You weren't working in between running, right? So think about looking at business. Think about the fact that you've got to go after new business. You cannot sit back. I want you to steal business from Chicago and Indianapolis and Milwaukee and anywhere. But guess what? I want you to steal business from the East Coast and the West Coast and South. So another thing that happened during COVID, the National Association of Teachers for Oregon, right? Portland. In 2020, they wanted to have their meeting. Obviously, everything was shut down in Oregon. I was there 4 times during the entire pandemic and all the riots. And seriously. So they sent out an email to all their members saying, we're going to take this meeting to Texas, to Galveston, to the San Luis Resort. And any of you that want to go, here's the package. Here's what you got. 2,000 people showed up in Galveston. So don't tell me they don't want to meet. And don't tell me they won't fly. You see, this is why we can't focus just on the customers we've dealt with. So vitally important. You've got to talk to every one of your existing customers, find out every single thing about them, and look how to position yourself for new business. No matter who you are in this room, because you're not all hotels, all different kinds of, whether it's transportation, whether it's audiovisual, whether it's the city, right? The destination. We have to position ourselves differently. So how do you stay relevant? You got to stay connected. Do you read? Are you on top of things? Are you getting all the updates? What's going on? This is critical because during COVID, people just hunkered down. They literally, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Well, during times like this, we got to secure the business we have and find new business. Whatever you do, you have to keep looking for that business. And that base of business is going to be vital. Leisure business saved us through the pandemic. For some, not for all. Leisure business is hot right now because people traveled within the country. Europe, they did the same thing. I still am training in Russia. I'm still doing for all Belmont's one of our clients, and we're training those salespeople in Russia because they're still making sales calls and they're not hearing all kind of the stuff we hear. And you don't really say war there, you say situation. So I go, so how's everything at the situation? Fine, I'm on my way to Moscow. See, like, wow, half the world doesn't even know what's going on in other parts. I'm still doing the training virtually for our hotels in China. The trends, listening outside of your own circle. The biggest mistake I think salespeople make is that they've become complacent because of transactions, because we're busy. All the leads piling in, everybody's so busy. That's why social media has suffered. You do have to be present on social media. And you've got so many things to promote in the city. Literally, you could take 12 months and promote food and beverage 1 month, sports the next month, art the next month, right? Culture, not to mention the arch and all of that. Then the center, then music. And you could do that yourself. This is not just for marketing people. This is for you. People buy from people. So on your Instagram, on your LinkedIn, on your Facebook, I get 5 to 10 DMs a day that are leads. Oh, I saw you were just here. We're thinking about doing a program. I was in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia in September and October, 2 months last year for 4 seasons. Because I was out having the time of my life training, because MBS has done whatever you hear, it's going good. Okay. Women are not covered anymore. They're driving. I was with the sales team going out making sales calls. They're driving and they're kind of like fast. I'm like, ladies, you can stay in one lane. It's okay. I know it's so fun. I go, well, it's like they're 16. They just started driving. And Neom, the city of the future, Alula. See, I'm bringing this up because you got to know that the world is continuing to change, but we get bombarded with negativity every single day. So how you stay connected is everything's positive about St. Louis. Everything. You never talk politics. You don't talk COVID. You don't talk any of that stuff. You just talk St. Louis. And you've got so much to talk about. If you really did a T-chart, and I would challenge you to go back and do a T-chart about all the positives of St. Louis versus your top 10 comp set cities, you would be blown away at how much is better. I am not kidding. So, I always say to people, how well do you know your customers? Oh, I know them really well. When I do interviews, because again, I work for some owners. And so I'll sit down, I'll interview some salespeople that they're looking at. And I usually interview some of the senior ones, and they're kind of just big, bad, and I'm it. I say, so tell me, who was your top producer for you when you worked at XYZ? Well, I handle the financial market. Deloitte's one of my bigger accounts as well. I said, okay, well, Deloitte's one of my clients. And it's true. I've been doing training for Deloitte in about 10 different divisions, service training, leadership. I say, who's your number one client person that you deal with at Deloitte? Oh, Bob Smith. I said, why don't you give him a call right now? Just check in on him. You should see people. In an interview? I said, well, you won't say you're in an interview. You'll just check in on him. It's called a touch point. Right. I go, well, I can call my client with Deloitte. Maybe he knows you. Because on my cell phone, I do have all my key accounts. That's when people are like, you quit and they walk you out the next day. It's like, well, I got it all here anyway. It doesn't matter. I mean, come on. See, if you are good, you know your customers, you're relevant, you're in touch, and you constantly are talking to them. Constantly. So my goal for my whole team and for everybody I work with is 100 touch points a week. During COVID, we never stopped. People said to me, I would be on webinars. Well, that's actually not very good. That's not very sensitive to touch people during COVID. I said, I think it's very nice. I'm reaching out, seeing how things are going, because here's the deal. Questions are the key. What's going on? What's happening with you? How can I help you? I can give you an example. I work with some of the top virtuoso travel agencies in the world. So the cruise industry got hit really hard. We got hit hard. They got hit really hard. So if you know anything about selling cruises as a travel advisor, you get paid commission the moment it gets booked, and you have to pay back the commission if it cancels. So if you weren't a smart travel advisor, you put it in the bank, or you went and bought that nice new bag. So if you bought the nice new bag, you had to pay it back. So I got on with several of our key travel advisors, and I said, okay, I'm going to show you how we're going to sell some cruises for 2023. I didn't say, and this was in 2020. I didn't go with 21. I didn't go with 22. I said 2023. Because also Regent, some of my big clients out of Australia that are cruise lines, I knew some of the new ships were going to be out in 2023. So I said to the top agents that sell serious, expensive cruises, I want you to invite 5 of your top revenue producing cruisers to come to a webinar. And we're going to have them send in their favorite picture, their favorite memory of their cruise in 2019. And then we're going to talk about that. The travel agents. Well, that's the most stupid thing I ever heard. No one will do that. I said, well, you've got nothing else to lose. Okay. So I'm in charge right now. Invite them. I will facilitate like I'm a travel agent. I'll do it. You just have to be a part of it. Because what if they like wanted to book something and I don't know how to do that? We invited 5. There were 5 couples. One was like a mother and daughter, but they invited 5. They all accepted immediately. We didn't send them any alcohol, drinks, charcuterie boards, none of that. We just said, we send in a picture. They sent in the picture. And then I welcomed them all, introduced them to each other because they didn't know each other, right? And I said, I'm going to start with you, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so. I'm going to put up your picture and I'd love to have you tell us all about it. We thought they'd talk for 10 minutes. Each of them talked for 15 to 20 minutes. And then the other couples would chime in. Oh, we saw that too. We love that too. What we thought would be an hour was 2 hours. At the end of the 2 hours, I pulled up a brand new cruise that's leaving Australia in 2023. I said, so here's the deal. This is what we have to look forward to. Your memories will take you to this. So how many of you want to book? I sold 3 out of 5 that day. See, most people don't understand touch points. Most people don't understand authentic relationships. You see, there's 3 things that go into planning a meeting, a trip, anything. 1 is planning. 2 is the experience. And 3 is the memory. So questions are key. Get on the phone with your customers and start asking questions. What can we do to make it easier for you to book St. Louis? How can we be a better option? Because it is all about new business. Everything. It's going to help you, the future, and this destination. So I think all of you are thoroughbreds, right? So when I was in Chicago, way before, long time ago, I started a company called Master Plans. It's still in Chicago. It's a DMC. We sold the company. The only thing my partner kept was the Kentucky Derby. We did all the food concessions. I was on the team to start the Taste of Chicago. That kind of ages me way back in the day, but that's okay. It's called great, right? And so I watch the Kentucky Derby all the time. I love it. I have derby parties. And this year I just loved it because you got to admit, Rich Strike, that young out there, won. Nobody believed it. Nobody bet on it. Agile, smart, tough, strong. That's you. But what is the difference between a Greyhound and a Thoroughbred? What's the difference other than one's a dog and one's a horse? Anybody yell it out. Do you know? What? You got to ride, you ride a horse. Yep. Okay. The big difference is the Greyhound chases a rabbit. You see, thoroughbreds don't need incentive. They just go. And that's who we are. It's a new world out there. And I'm going to tell you right now, customer behavior is changing faster than we can keep up. Hence, salespeople are 3rd in the relationship. 3rd. 2 is social media. 1, friends. So you've got to be really in it, relevant. Yesterday, it was all about let's tell the customer what we can do. Now it's all about what do you need and how can we do it? Clienteling means I own the client. Don't make it hard for customers to do business with us anymore. The days of, hi, can I talk to somebody in sales? I'd like to book a meeting. Now, will it have food and beverage? Maybe. Well, that depends on who I'm going to give it to. Is it 12 rooms and under or 12 rooms and over? Why don't we find out who the client is, get them on the phone and say, thank you for calling and let's run. We have literally tripped over dimes to get to pennies and we got to stop. That is how you create breakthrough in a post-pandemic world. No more silos. No more making it hard. Forget it. A corporate travel has group business. Group business has corporate travel. Corporate travel has leisure. Leisure has a wedding, social. We are all one. Get together. Talk about these accounts. Pay attention. And make sure we are constantly challenging each other up the game every single day. So I look at it this way. Just look around. You can look behind you because you know, right? Look around. The people in this room or listening to us virtually, that is who's going to be really important to you. Who is going to give you the answers? If there's no such thing as solo entrepreneurs, you've got to be bold. You got to be bright. You've got to be brave. You've got to be confident. And you got to know how to send the message of St. Louis proud out loud in a big way. So this year, I always take on one book, and with all of our clients, we do, it's like book clubs. People go, like a book club? I go, what kind of? I make them read it. So this year I took Relentless on. I love it. Tim Grover's a sports coach. He also is a business coach. He's very blunt, brutal, and honest, but the book Relentless is great, and you could buy it and read it, and you're going to love it. But I'll tell you, to be relentless, you got to be tough. You got to have grit. You got to be strong. You can't be weak. So there's 3 types of people in the book: the coolers, the closers, the cleaners. All right. So the coolers, they're the mediators. They wait to be told what to do. They can handle a certain amount of things when they're going well, but that's kind of it. Now, the closers, they can handle a lot of pressure, and they will get the job done if you put them in the right place. They do seek attention. They like money over kind of other perks, but it's the cleaners, both in sports and in business, that bring it home. The cleaner sweeps it up. You see, they never need a kick in the butt. They don't have to chase the rabbit because we just run. We do whatever it takes to live that excellent, relentless life. So here are the 13 tips. And you can just take a picture of these, or if you read the book, they'll be in the book. Number 1, we push ourselves harder than anybody else, and we have no problem being uncomfortable. We get into the zone. We shut everything out. We know exactly who we are. We absolutely are not intimidated by pressure. We do what we got to do without fear. And when everybody else is hitting the emergency button, they're calling you. You don't compete with anyone because you find the opponent's weakness and you attack. You go for it. You make decisions, not suggestions. You don't have to love the work, but you love the results. I mean, there's things, some days I wake up and I'm like, really? You'd rather be respected than liked? Right? Be professional. Make sure everybody knows who you are. You trust very few people. You keep your inner circle close. You don't recognize failure because you know there's more to do. And then you don't celebrate your success because you always want more. You see, today, if you sell, you can't just show up. This is not the time to pull back or withdraw. This is not the time to not think about productivity. Slow down to speed up, which I'm going to talk about after the break. This is about getting organized. This is about growing, knowing your game, knowing every single unique selling point of St. Louis and letting it roll off your tongue. Really just standing there. Let me tell you why we're the best. Proud out loud. Communicate it like a champion and know how to sell it. So let's change it up, right? Create real relationships. At the coffee break, talk to people, get to know people. Give your clients examples of what other people have done in the city. Show them. Be eloquent, be strong, and pay attention to your presence. So I believe strongly that every moment, every person, every handshake is another wonderful moment of an engagement and an encounter. That's why I talk to everyone. The woman on the plane last night from Miami to here works for Accenture, right? Does all kinds of training. I trained for Accenture for a short time. Now, hopefully, I'll be back in. It was a 2.5-hour flight. She was kind of tired, but I woke her up. So with that, I really am excited. When I tell you I love St. Louis, I'm not exaggerating. I mean it. And I can yell it from the rooftops. So should you. So with that, I'll bring Brian back up to the stage. Thank you, and I'll see you after the break. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Cindy. That was absolutely amazing, wasn't it? So just as a point of order for housekeeping, we're going to go for about another 25 to 30 minutes. Then we're going to have a 15-minute break at 10:15. But what I want to do for the next 30 minutes or so is I want to help answer that question that Cindy just posed. What are the things that need to roll off the tip of your tongue concerning St. Louis? So what I'd like to bring you through is what I'm calling the top 10 questions most asked by customers concerning St. Louis. And I'm going to ask and then answer each one of these. And then I'm going to not only give you ideas in reference to some content and some inspiration, but I'm going to tell you where you can find on our website or other locations some of the materials that I'm going to familiarize you with. So question number one for customers. How often have you heard this one? Do you have any incentives? Well, we have a brand new answer for you. Indeed, we do have an incentive that we're offering as a destination. And in your inbox, in fact, it was distributed yesterday to all of our hotel contacts throughout the community, is an invitation for you to opt in to the Best of St. Louis booking incentive. So as opposed to coming up with some type of financial gimmick, what we've done is we have built out, in collaboration with Jennifer Poindexter and Darion Richards of Meet St. Louis, we have built out 4 fabulous St. Louis experiences. The first experience is having a curated tour of baseball heaven, home to the St. Louis Cardinals. For 25 VIPs, you're able to showcase just the wonderful, wonderful franchise, the best in baseball. They're going to take you behind the scenes. They're going to roll out the Cardinal red carpet and give you a fantastic tour of baseball heaven. The second incentive that you can offer is St. Louis style barbecue. We have some of the best barbecue in the United States. Some of the most amazing pit masters are right here in St. Louis. So don't you think your groups would really appreciate a VIP barbecue experience for 25 folks if they book 250 guest rooms or more by the end of this year, to be consumed anytime between now and the end of 2023? The next incentive that we're offering is the birthplace of brewing. We are steeped in beer history in St. Louis, are we not? Not only do we have the storied Anheuser-Busch and the historic brew house, but we have 60 craft breweries throughout our community. We are synonymous with beer, but this experience is going to provide 25 VIPs with a behind-the-scene curated experience at the birthplace of American brewing, what I refer to as the Willy Wonka chocolate factory for adults, Anheuser-Busch. Next, the St. Louis Blues Museum. I don't know how many of you had a chance to join us for the last Explorer event that we had back in June at the Blues Museum. How many of you have been to the Blues Museum by show of hands? Well, we need to get more of you out there, because the blues is a genre that is foundational to all contemporary music, including rock and roll, and they do a masterful job of telling the story about the origins of the blues right next door. So the fourth experience that we're offering 25 VIPs who book 250 guest rooms or more is an experience over at the Blues Museum. So there you have it. We've got baseball, barbecue, beer, and the blues, the best of St. Louis. And here's how we're going to help you market this incentive. If you take a picture of that slide and email Michelle Webb, we'll take your picture and your contact information, and we'll customize it in a PDF flyer, and we'll email it to you so that you can use this incentive to communicate with your customers. So all you have to do is step number 1, opt in, provide us the information for your hotel. We are going to split the cost, and it will be at cost of delivering the incentive. Explore St. Louis will pay half, you will pay half, and then we'll collaborate and working together to deliver the experiences. So that's question number 1, asked and answered. Question number 2, how often do you get this one? Cindy just alluded to this a couple of minutes ago. What makes St. Louis unique? Well, I've got to tell you, folks, Cindy was talking about the fact that people are kind of done and over with the 2 coastal cities, including national media. National media have reported ad nauseum on New York and Chicago and Los Angeles and other coastal cities. And they're now discovering in a very, very tangible way the Midwest. And in particular, they're discovering St. Louis. So these are just a handful of attributes and accolades that have come our way courtesy of national media. And I see somebody taking a picture, and I want to let you know that I'm going to give you this. I'm going to show you a QR code in just a couple of minutes so that you can log onto our website and you can actually download this. But Kat Neville and I were just in New York a couple of weeks ago, and we actually had Bon Appetit and Food and Wine telling us how hot the food scene is in St. Louis. It's really heartening. They get it. They understand it. Look at this. #1 city park in the United States, according to USA Today. Fastest growing city for tech jobs. Have you guys heard about the innovation scene in St. Louis? It's exploding. Innovation is the new us. We're innovating everything in this community. We're innovating when it comes to life science and plant science. We're innovating when it comes to medicine. We're innovating when it comes to tourism. I said to an executive committee group the other day, think about innovation when it comes to a tangible experience. You can't experience Square, but you can experience a world-class aquarium like the St. Louis Aquarium. You can't experience a life sciences lab, but you can certainly experience as a visitor the likes of City Museum that is unlike any other attraction in the United States. In fact, we have people coming here from around the world to experience it because they want to understand how they could replicate it. So when it comes to the brand positioning of St. Louis, I'm going to give you a little cheat sheet. This is how we position our community. For travelers who enjoy exploring cities, St. Louis surprises visitors every day with innovative and world-class attractions, arts, food and beverage, served in an unpretentious, affordable, and come-as-you-are fashion. Many of you have heard me say this before. My shorthand for our positioning is Cosmo without the crap. We give you everything that you expect out of a first-tier city. We give you an incredible and vibrant art scene. We give you world-class attractions. Your lodging products throughout the community are absolutely amazing. But what we don't have are the downsides that people tend to associate with large urban centers. We don't have the competition for resources like having to wait in line. We don't have the cost. So many of our attractions are free that it's absolutely amazing. And we don't have the congestion. We really are a 20-minute community. And I get a kick out of people, some fellow St. Louisans complaining about traffic from time to time. I lived in Washington, D.C., and I can tell you all about traffic, and we don't have it. So Cosmo without the crap. This is a positioning slide that you can use in your practice. In fact, just next week when it comes to innovation, and I want you to really think about this word, innovation, because it is the new St. Louis. So what we're doing next week, Kat Neville, Kitty Radcliffe, and I are going to be in New York with a group of executives that include Carolyn Kendall Betts, Steve Smith, Vanessa Cooksey, Bob Laughlin, Mike LaMartina from Ballpark Village. And we're doing a program for the media of New York. We have about 30 media showing up. We're going to be in a Danny Meyer restaurant, and Danny's recorded a video message. You know, Danny is from St. Louis, and he waxes poetically about this place. And we're going to talk about the tourism innovation that's taking hold in St. Louis. Think about it. The MLS. Think about Karate Kid, the musical that we actually performed and perfected. Now we're going to be exporting it from Kirkwood, Missouri, all the way to Broadway. Think about Opera Theater St. Louis. Think about all the other arts and cultural attractions and amenities that we're innovating here in St. Louis that people are taking note of and we're now beginning to export. And we look forward to telling that story to national media and securing even more media placements and accolades. Now, I also want to share with you a new program that we're creating to illustrate some of these innovative new opportunities that are taking hold in our community. It's called All Access. So Kat Neville, our VP of Communications, is taking the show on the road. She's bringing people behind the scenes of attractions throughout the community. Up to bat is the aquarium. The first one that we just prototyped and distributed took place over at Ballpark Village and Busch Stadium, talking about game day operations. Now we're going over to the aquarium. We're going to talk about all the behind the scenes, really cool aspects to the aquarium at Union Station. Then we're going to go to the zoo. We're going to go out to Six Flags. We're going to hit attractions throughout the community and talk about how they are all innovating. So watch for the series to unfold because there's a lot more behind it. So the next question that you guys may oftentimes get from customers is, how do you promote St. Louis? And I just want to remind everyone that we really punch well above our weight when it comes to well-known national celebrities who grew up here, many of which came back here, all of which have really fond memories and connections with this place. They have all donated their time and talent in helping us market St. Louis. None of them are getting any compensation for being part of the Explore St. Louis campaign. The method is that we sit down and we simply interview them. We ask them some questions about St. Louis and we allow them to speak from the heart. The outcome is a series of commercials. Many of you have seen these, but I want to debut a handful of 15-second spots that you haven't yet seen because they are running right now in collaboration with the Missouri Division of Tourism and their co-op campaign in markets surrounding St. Louis. Here's the first.
I'm Jenna Fisher, and I'm from St. Louis. It's a really great city to explore with your kids. It's got sports, it's got great food, it's got great museums and attractions. It's the whole package. St. Lou is home. It's my home.
Hi, my name is Sterling K. Brown. I'm from St. Louis. The Lou represents. I mean, we got Forest Park, music, we got food. Let me not forget the Magic House. We have quality human beings, and I couldn't be prouder to call this my home.
So we had the opportunity just a couple of months ago to sit down with comedian Nikki Glaser. I don't know how many of you have seen the Welcome Home Nikki Glaser show on E, but it basically stars or co-stars St. Louis. It's all about coming home to St. Louis during the pandemic. Nikki has lived in New York, she has lived in Los Angeles, and she decided during the pandemic not only to return home, and she lives in the Central West End and absolutely loves it, but she is here to stay. And she is such a great ambassadress. And here is one of 3 new commercials that we just produced in collaboration with Nikki.
Being a kid in St. Louis is heaven because there's so much to do. Six Flags, the Magic House, all the museums, the zoo. You gotta go to the City Museum. It's a paradise for kids. This is St. Louis at its best.
So what I want to encourage you all to do, and I'm going to give you a QR code in a minute, so get your phones ready, is that all of these assets, all of the 30-second commercials, all these 15-second spots, all of these digital displays, these tiles that can be used on social media or integrated into one of your presentations to a customer, they're all online, they're all in a portal, and they're all available for you to download, and I really encourage you to do so. All you need to do is take a picture of that QR code right there and go into our site and download any of these resources. So anything and everything that I share with you today is going to be available for download behind that QR code. Everybody get it? And you'll have we're going to have a recap of this session and we'll share it with you again. But I really encourage you, think about, as Cindy was talking about, talking to your clients and sharing and having conversation with them, understanding what's on their mind. Find ways to make connections between these noteworthy St. Louisans and these campaign elements and your clients, because I guarantee you that you have clients out there that are fans of This Is Us, or fans of Welcome Home Nikki Glaser, or they'll remember fondly having binge watched episodes of The Office, and everybody loves Pam, right? So the next question that you guys may hear a lot about is how is the air service in St. Louis? And this is a perennial favorite, and it really, it's self-defeating because so many St. Louisans remember the days fondly of TWA. Well, TWA is dead, buried, and gone. It's never coming back. We're not going to be a hub in the same fashion that we once were with respect to that carrier or any other carrier to that order of magnitude. However, what I want to share with you is that the competitive positioning when it comes to the number of markets that we connect with around the United States and increasingly now around the world is more than competitive with those cities that we routinely compete with. So have a look at the daily capacity and the daily departures and the average fares and the number of destinations that we serve in St. Louis and compare that to Indianapolis, compare it to New Orleans. I get a kick out of this. Customers will sometimes tell us that you don't have enough airlift in St. Louis for my group. But then we respond and say, well, 2 years ago, you were in New Orleans. Look at New Orleans. What's up with that? So I just want you to know that the airport stands ready to run for you for any period of time a competitive analysis to show air service at STL compared to any destination that you're competing with. All you need to do is reach out to us. We can give you this slide, or we can do a customized report that the airport can run in collaboration with us. It was a really big deal that about a month ago, we introduced thrice weekly service between Frankfurt and St. Louis. The rumor is, and this is not an announcement, but the rumor is it is doing so well, they may up it to 5 times per week. And if we can do 5, maybe we can get to daily service between here and Frankfurt. We were talking a little bit earlier about the European destination that most people connect through now, and it's not Heathrow. It used to be Heathrow. Heathrow is over congested right now. Their airspace is occupied. Frankfurt is the new European center that many are connecting through. So this service is huge for us. And Renee Eichelberger, who heads up international and leisure travel sales, is all over it. We were pleased to be at IMEX. We're going to be along with Brand USA in about a month and a half. We're going to make every opportunity available to us to make inroads into the European continent courtesy of this service. So the next question that you guys may have on your minds, or that customers may bring up, what enhancements are underway at America Center? Well, at long last, you're all aware that back in May, we broke ground for AC Next Gen. And I want to let you know that when you hit that QR code that I just shared with you a couple of minutes ago, you're going to find a detailed brochure concerning AC Next Gen. And you're also going to find a PowerPoint presentation with lots of cool images that'll help you describe it, in addition to this video. So the team is presently working on a construction schedule for the first phase of the project. And by about next week, we're going to be sharing with you details in reference to when phase 1 is going to be completed. Phase 2, we're going to need a little bit more time to sort out, but we hope to have an estimate in reference to when the entire project is going to be completed within the next couple of months, and you will be the first to know. So I'm going to take on a challenging subject, and we're going to go here for a minute, and that is the question, well, what about crime in St. Louis? Now, I want you to know that when it comes to crime, as Cindy was alluding to a few minutes ago, look at those headlines up there. Take them all in for a second. 6 major cities on pace to pass historic 2021 violent crime totals halfway through 2022. None of those headlines concern crime in St. Louis. This is a national phenom. It is taking place in cities and urban areas across the United States. Yet, somehow we in St. Louis, I sense sometimes, we internalize it, we own it. But if you talk to a Chicagoan about crime, what is that Chicagoan going to respond by saying? They're going to talk about crime happening in their backyard too. But one of the things that we all need to do as we own and take very personally our reputation is when we hear our own, when we hear our neighbors talking about crime in this community and saying things like, hell, if I'm going to go downtown, don't take it. Don't let it stand. We need to own our reputation. And as locals and residents, we internalize too much of this. Now, you all know the story about the crime statistics. You all know that it has to do with the very small geographic area and population of St. Louis City, and St. Louis City being separated from St. Louis County. And if you simply reunited the two, like most cities in the United States are part of a county, we drop precipitously in the crime rankings. And it's not to excuse crime. It's not to suggest for a minute that crime shouldn't be taken seriously. It is simply saying, don't let it define us. So as a resource for all of you, we have a page on ExploreSt.Louis.com that we call the frequently asked questions about crime in St. Louis. If you Google that, it will come up and it's very easy to find. However, we don't include it for obvious reasons as part of the navigation of our website. You actually have to search for it, or we can send you the link. We've got a great video that we're in the process right now of updating that explains public safety in downtown St. Louis and throughout the entire community. And we have a nice series of questions and answers concerning safety in our community. I have to share with you, the vast majority of travelers who come to St. Louis have a great experience. You're going to see some data in just a couple of minutes. They don't report anywhere near to the same extent that our own residents do concern about crime. Beachbody, as we all are aware, was in town last week and over the weekend. It was absolutely fabulous group. We had about 16,000 predominantly women throughout our community and did not have a single incident. They partied like rock stars. They had a great time. That is the St. Louis Convention experience that we have to sell, and we have that to be proud of. So what is there to do in St. Louis? How often do your customers say, well, is there anything to do for my attendees? And the answer is there are scores of activities that people can do, see, experience, and enjoy throughout our community. I want you to know that the most visited site on, the most visited page on ExploreSt.Louis.com is our top 25. If you haven't taken a look at this lately, I invite you to do so because Kat has updated this completely. It's newly written. It's really, it just tells a fantastic story about attractions and activities that people can delight in our community. So when people ask you, what can I do? What can my attendees do in St. Louis? Point them to this page. You can also point them to this video when it comes to your meeting clients, and in particular, what some of the advantages are concerning a meeting professional for booking St. Louis. This is called the 11 Reasons Your Attendees Are Gonna Thank You for Booking St. Louis. So it's a fantastic video, and it's certainly something that you can integrate into your proposals and presentations and share with your customers. So oftentimes our customers ask, what do others that have booked St. Louis said about your community? So we've done a longitudinal tracking study, and I can make all this data available to you so that you can share this with your customers. But this may surprise you to know that 9 in 10 of the attendees that we have surveyed via intercept surveys right here at America Center, starting in 2017 all the way up to the pandemic in 2019, 9 in 10 rated their experience, their convention experience in St. Louis as very good or excellent. And look at the bottom, non-existent, no pores, got a very low margin of fares, but the vast majority, 9 in 10, had a fantastic experience. Number two, importantly, how many of these people how many will go back and tell friends, family members, and actually recommend a leisure trip or a trip back to St. Louis to attend a meeting and convention? Again, 9 in 10 are likely or extremely likely to recommend St. Louis as a place to visit to those people that they know. Now, this is an open-ended question, folks. When asked, what did you like most about your experience in St. Louis? The warmth, friendliness, and hospitality of St. Louis comes, or St. Louisans comes through time and time again. I argue that our hospitality is the secret sauce of St. Louis, that Midwestern ethos that we're really kind people. People enjoy interacting with St. Louisans, and that certainly demonstrates the fact that we do a really good job of welcoming customers when they come to this community. The second, the accessibility of our city. The third, food, restaurants, and the fourth, St. Louis attractions. These are all the things that people reported back to us from an attendee perspective that they particularly enjoyed about their experience in St. Louis. Now, seeing is believing. When people come to St. Louis, they have an amazing experience, as you just saw, but importantly, it's transformational. So they may have had one attitude or perception, or they may just not have known a lot about St. Louis prior to coming here. But when they come here and they have a tourism or meeting convention experience, they find that it actually exceeded their expectations, because 68%, just shy of 70% of the attendees indicate that their perceptions resulting from their experience in St. Louis became more positive. Yes, I'm going to go here too. I'm sure that many of you have heard about or have heard from customers concerning Missouri's abortion ban. I want to give you some information from Destinations International. I want to give you a couple of ideas as to how you might respond to this while maintaining sort of a politically neutral posture. These are lines, and you can take a picture if you would like to use these lines in your correspondence or your communication with customers. But the first thing that you need to do is make it clear that travel boycotts hurt local businesses and the workers throughout our community. Humanize it so that people understand that when they decide not to come to a destination or your hotel as a result of the abortion trigger law that's taken hold in the state of Missouri, that they're impacting people like you, and they're impacting those people that you work with. So humanize it. And then suggest to them that there are better ways to influence policy that are less harmful and more effective, such as using their event to organize advocacy activity around the issue if they choose to do so. And one of the things that I would suggest that you share with them is this tweet, and I'm happy to give you this image from Mayor Jones, where she says, I'll say it again, abortion bans are bad for business. The cost of missed opportunities falls hardest on the frontline hotel workers, local restaurants, and small businesses who rely on the dollars of 28 million visitors that they bring and spend in St. Louis each year. So these are some tools that you can potentially use to respond to those organizations that express concern. And time will tell as to what the impact is going to be of this legislation. Hopefully it's not going to take a substantial bite out of our activity, and we can respond to the majority of the concerns with those tools and assets that I just shared with you. And then question number 10, when is it going to be time for a break? And the answer is right now. You've got 15 minutes, parfaits and coffee and juice right outside. We're going to come back in 15 minutes. We're going to pick up with a closing keynote from Cindy. Thanks very much. All right, welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the break. Thanks very much to Levy Restaurants, the in-house caterer for America Center and Explore St. Louis. They donated that break because they believe strongly in the mission that has gathered us all here today. So big round of applause for Levy for their donation to HSMAI and Explore St. Louis. So it is my privilege to reintroduce you to Cindy Novotny in just a second, but I want to let you know that What we're going to do is Cindy's going to speak for about 45 minutes. And then for those of you that are joining us virtually, at the end of her closing keynote, I'm going to give you the opportunity to express any questions that you may have for Cindy or me in the chat, and we're going to read them from the booth. And then anyone here that has any questions for either Cindy or me, you're able to come right up front at the end of the program and ask those questions into the microphone. And I'm going to ask that you do speak into the microphone when we get to that point so that the people that are tuned in virtually are able to hear you. So I hope Cindy got your attention with her opening keynote. I thought it was absolutely fabulous. Now she's going to talk to you about how to refine and enhance your sales skills. So give it up once again for Cindy Novotny.
Okay, well, that's good. Y'all came back, you know, it's a sign. It's positive. All right. So now this is a little bit of nitty gritty on what to exactly do to get better. Again, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. If I heard it once, I heard it 100 times. We're busy. We're overwhelmed. Can't take it. Leads are coming in like crazy. Oh, on and on. Well, that's because we're not doing some things right. So I want to make sure that regardless of what you're selling, we are doing things right to be able to close more business. So I talked about touch points, and do not be the person in this room that says, I don't have time to make any prospecting calls because I'm too busy handling inquiries. 1 hour a day is all I'm asking. Now remember, I'm VP in charge of nothing. So you can just go, I'm not doing it. It's okay. I'm not your boss. I'm a mentor. You cannot let your pipeline dry up. So the business that you're getting, hallelujah, but not all the business we're getting do we want forever. And there's other business we might want more that's going somewhere else. So 1 hour a day minimum, that's it. I want you to block out to look for new business. Now, when you look for new business, you're not making cold calls and just dialing for dollars, as I call it. You're actually going back to the path of least resistance, our customers that are currently doing business with you. So I'll go back to Deloitte, my client. If you're dealing with Deloitte and you're dealing with one client at Deloitte, there's about 32 more you need to meet. That's all there is to it. Accenture, the woman I met on the plane yesterday, we trained for Accenture back when they changed the name from Anderson Consulting to Accenture, and they changed all that. This division she's in, which is in a learning and development division, we don't know anything about. I've never met anybody. Now I know her. I've got her card. She's got mine. I immediately emailed the person on my team that handles Accenture, and I said, I want you all over this tomorrow. Like, figure it out. That's what I mean. Now, when you reach out, you can't just say, how are things? Do you have any business? No? Great. First of all, they said no. So I want you to reach out asking, let's talk a little bit about your meetings, your travel, your leisure. On the break, I talked to one of my trainers who's in Vegas working in a big hotel who said, I just got pushed back from, a leisure salesperson that said you can't prospect the travel agents. And that's total rubbish because everybody else is. And the way we prospect them is not going to their offices to do a presentation and leave donuts. It's about talking to the owner, talking to the general manager of that agency, and then starting to say, what are some of the issues you're facing? What can we do to work with you easier? Is it when you call, if it's a preferred partner with you, with your brand, what can we do though at our hotel to be able to be more accessible? Right? Everybody's got apps now, and half the apps don't even give you much attention anyway. Like, I'm always in hotels practicing on the app. I just ask for things I don't need, just see how quick they get back to me. And sometimes it's 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. By then I've already called down to the old-fashioned situation called an operator, right? So when you reach out to clients, you need to say, if it's meetings clients, so think about it. During COVID, a ton of meeting planners got let go. You all know that, right? Including Merritt's, they let go a lot of planners. They all got rid of planners because there was no meetings to plan. And so in a lot of corporate offices, the PAs, the EAs, like the Executive Assistants Association, if you're not involved in it, I don't know what branch, if they have a one here in St. Louis, but you need to look into it. There's about 15,000 members of it. I'm very involved with them. And I will tell you, they're planning a ton of meetings because they work for the C-level. They work for the chief marketing officer, the CEO, the CFO, the CIO, and they never planned meetings before. So what are their issues? They don't know what they're doing. And I love that. That's good because we'll take over. We'll have a direct line for you to call. You got to get out and find out what they need. Then you have to come up with solutions that will help them. That's what a value proposition really is. If you find yourself, and nothing drives me crazy, then when sales books a group, let's take Deloitte. I'll just stick with them. They book Deloitte. They don't really know what division of Deloitte. They don't know who they're talking to. They don't know what influencers. They don't even know why we got the lead. And then it gets turned over to services, to events or conference services, whatever you want to call it today. And then conference services starts asking the same old questions we already asked because we didn't turn it over properly and we're wasting time. And then when they come on property, sales is too busy running around trying to take care of all the event leads and all the inquiries and everything else. They never go down and see the customer. Conference services is too busy taking care of everything because we have less people in banquets and less this. We're running like maniacs and nobody even checks on that customer who has about 4 more pieces of business that we could get from them. So again, I was in Boston at a hotel in January. And when I'm in a hotel, and you can ask the people that know me in this room, especially that group right there. When I'm in a hotel, on the breaks and at lunch, I walk the hotel. Like people think I'm like, I work there. I don't even have a name tag on, but I act like I'm like GM. I think it's fun, right? And I walk around, how are you? Are you enjoying your hotel? People are like, oh, thank you. Yes, very much. I love it because I'm always dressed up. It's good. But I love a good registration desk. Like today, the registration desk. I always go to the registration desk, but I love a good registration desk. In a convention center, in a hotel, that's where you get the people that talk to you because they're just signing people in. So I walk past, there was a meeting room about 2 down from the room I was in. And I walk over and I said, hello, ladies. Now, of course, I'm with the hotel. And it's none of the hotels represented today in this room. I'm with the hotel. And of course, we have the best break because we're with the hotel. So we have all these smoothies and everything. And those poor ladies are sitting there with nothing, little cup of coffee. So I walk over and I said, how's everything going? They said, fine. I said, would you both like a smoothie? I would love one. This is my beginning, right? When my friends that are single say they can't get a date, I go, we'll go offline and go to a bar. You know what I mean? Just try it. Like I can work a conference room. I can work a registration desk. Come on. So I take over the smoothie. I walk over and then I start chatting. And they go, so are you at the hotel? And I never lie. I go, no, I'm actually doing sales training 2 doors down. No, I don't say who it's with. They go, oh, we're doing sales training in here. This stuff falls into my lap. I cannot make any of this up. And by the way, I don't make anything up because I'd forget it. So if it happened in 2021, I forgot it. I only start with January 2022. So I said, oh, what kind of sales training? They said it's medical, but it's technology. It's not invasive. It's a technology, process that they use. And she goes, oh my gosh, you've got so much energy. When my VP comes out, we have to introduce you because they hate the training they're going through. I'm like, wow. The good news is I always train with another trainer. So I walked in, I'll be a little late, get the group going. So I stand there kind of, while they're drinking their blueberry smoothie. And sure enough, he comes out, they introduce, they say, this is Cindy. She brought us smoothies and she's doing training. He starts talking to me. Now, a couple things really happen. One is he gives me his card, which that's all I need. It's my point of entry. He said, I would like to follow up. Have you done training in medical? I said, yeah, I give Siemens. I give all the examples that we've done, GSK, pharmaceutical. So, I've got my messaging, just like I said, I wanted to roll off your tongue. And then it keeps continuing. So we continue chatting and then he goes back into the room. So then I say to the 2 ladies at the registration desk, now, how do you book your business? Because now I'm going to go back to the hotel training room, right? They go, oh, we're based out of New York, but this actually got booked by a person out of Austin, Texas. I said, really? Like a big procurement company? No, it's just a salesperson that used to be with a hotel company and we really liked her. And she now does meeting planning and she lives in Austin. So we book everything through her. And the hotel she used to be with, she likes best, but they were sold out in the city. in Boston. So we had to come here. Now I'm with all those people. We had to come here. I said, oh, I said, and who's the salesperson that you're working with here? You know, we don't know. We haven't really, you're the first person from the hotel we've met. And I'm not even with the hotel. I said, oh, what about conference services? No. So I walked back into the room. I can't make this stuff up. And just so you know, it's nobody you know. Okay. I walked back into the hotel. I said, so who's handling XYZ account down there? Everybody looks at everybody. Have you ever seen meetings like that? I go, by the way, there's no one in it. You're all here. So who booked that group? Because otherwise, did they just show up? I'm going to start doing that. I'm just going to show up at a hotel, go into a meeting room and have banquets, get me coffee. Like they didn't just show up. And someone says, oh, you know what? That was booked by so-and-so who left. See what happened? Because of COVID mess. I go, oh, right. I go, so no one took over? That might have slipped. I go, yeah. And by the way, they have 25 more meetings they bring to this city. And by the way, they only booked you because their favorite hotel was sold out. And they won't book you again because no one said hello but me. Really? Really? I mean, you have to step back and say, stop being transactional. This is flat out ridiculous because it's our job to work what's in our hotel. If I worked here, I wish I could have been at Beachbody. No, I did that Beachbody thing for a while. It was a little tough. I took the little pills and everything, you know what I mean? It's that multi-level marketing. I kind of like it. I should have kept going. I'd be in a smaller outfit. But anyway, but I love that they partied like rock stars. I'd have been right there. So the idea is that I work every single group. I mean, always remember, everything but water, that's going to be my new account. So don't be transactional. Be deliberate and thoughtful in every bit of your outreach. There has never been a better time to make calls. When salespeople say, well, no one's answering, no one's answering, let me come to your office. I'll sit next to you. In fact, just forward me your phones. Because in between this 15 minutes, I went in there and I made 4 calls. So I'll go ahead and take them. I'm telling you, people are talking. People want to talk to people. You know, the one good thing that came out of COVID, not much, but this is one, is Zoom and Teams. Like before COVID, we never would have a client on camera. It was always that Polycom. I bet they're sad, that Polycom. I bet that's gone. Everyone is on camera. We send an Outlook invite to every single one of our calls with our clients, right? Including with Brian, and they're all on Zoom or Teams or Google Meet, whatever the platform the client wants. I mean, my latest one was Blue Jeans. Does anybody use Blue Jeans? It was with a travel agent. It was a bit tough for me, Blue Jeans. You know, technology. I act cool though. I'm like, oh, I'm vaguely familiar. Whenever I don't know what I'm talking about, I go with I'm vaguely familiar. I'm vaguely familiar with Blue Jeans. You know, not that I wear them, but I did. She goes, oh, it's the best platform. I'd never heard of it and haven't heard of it since, but whatever. So the idea is now you can look face to face. As an example, there was a client, learning and development, and she was not the nicest client I know. Okay. And we'd worked with her for about 4 years and she was a bit nudgy. Have you ever had a nudgy client? They kind of get on your last nerve a little bit, but they're the client, so they're always right. But I never saw her face to face because she never came to any of the training. And this is with a pharma company, never came to any of the training, never was on site. So during COVID, we had to talk because we were doing virtual. And so she came on camera. So we set up the Outlook invite. She got on camera and her background was this like cute room with unicorns and pixies and little lights and fairies. And it was like quite cute, really. She became a total different person the minute I went, I love is that a virtual background or is that your room? She goes, oh, it's my daughter's room. My husband's on a call. And you know, it's like so hard. We're both working from home. We became the best of buddies. And let me tell you how good a buddy. I said to her, so what can I do to help you? I know this has been a really tough time doing all this virtual training. Now remember, she barely gave me the time of day before COVID. She goes, you know, you've been so wonderful. The training's been good. I love all the virtual things you're doing. I said, well, is there anything I can do just for you? If you ask, you get. She goes, you know, there is something. I have twins. I'm a little exhausted, I got to tell you. Could you read to them every week? I went, yeah. Because what am I going to say? No. I ask, what can I do? She goes, I go, like, read like what? She goes, like a book. I go, okay. I said, can you send me a list of the books? Because probably Relentless won't be in them. You know what I'm reading? She goes, yes. You know, that would give me like 30 minutes. I said, okay. I said, timing. She goes, well, why don't you send the timing for you every week? Let's do it Wednesdays. For 6 weeks, I read to her twins. They started calling me Auntie. She is my best friend. She has introduced me now to so many other pharma companies that we were not in. We were only in one, GSK. She has now put me on a roundtable discussion with other HR and learning development people. I was deliberate, I was thoughtful, and I continued to touch. 84% of business decisions start with a referral. I could call out till I'm blue in the face. All these other pharma companies be like, no, we have our own L&D. We don't need you, blah, blah, blah. Her intro is all I needed. People listen to people they know. So we can market all day long. So CVent leads, let's just talk about it, right? So I was on a panel, or not, they were on a panel last week at a big conference. And I said, guys, occasionally with HB and conference director, all my friends and Steven, I said, occasionally we have to just back up for 5 minutes and like cut through the noise, because you have to step back and say, we get that everybody wants to use all these different technology tools. We'll do that. But what I'm going to tell you from this point forward is whoever catches that lead better not just forward it to a salesperson. Whoever catches the leads in your business, in your hotel, wherever it is, it needs to be responded to immediately by that coordinator, whoever. And it says something like this: thanks so much for reaching out to us, whatever the hotel is, whatever. We are thrilled you thought of us. I've copied Cindy Novotny, who handles your account. And then here's the secret sauce. Is there a good time today or tomorrow for you and Cindy to connect? I guarantee you, and you're going to have all my contact information, so call me for sure. I guarantee you'll get a response right away. And it'll say, thanks so much. Appreciate the immediate response, even though it came through CVent or meeting broker or RP or whatever it came from, right? I'm actually out of town the rest of this week. If we could set up a call for Monday, that would be great. Bingo, you just bought yourself 4 days. The other 50% of the time will be, I don't have any time to talk. If you could just fill out the RFP and send it in and go ahead. And then of course you go at the highest rate, you go at everything, you charge the meeting room charge, the whole bit. You have no idea what value you have. You have no idea who you're competing against. Somebody fill it out and move on, but follow up with it. You see, remember, it's not the first responder that wins. It's not the second responder that wins. It is always the last responder that meets before the deadline, but fills out a thorough proposal. This business of just, well, our company says we have to get it done in 2 hours. I got to get it done. I got to get it done. Go back and just check how much of that you really closed. And then send it up the flagpole to whatever executive is sitting somewhere in another city that doesn't even know what's going on, and say, by the way, we only close like 2% of these, and the other ones we don't even want. They can't afford us. You have to listen and talk. So I will tell you, everyone I train, when I tell them to do that, they close better business. So I receive all inquiries that come to our website. Now you're going to think I'm lying, and I'm not lying. In fact, people are blown away when I respond to them, because it comes to info@masterconnection.com. Now we're a small little company. We get about 10 to 15 a day. And the reason I get them is that I am all over time zones. I get them on my phone quicker than any of my 10 people sitting in California will be able to see. And it allows me to see the kind of business. I got a lead last week from Jiffy Lube. Jiffy Lube, you know, cars. Like, I've never even gone to a Jiffy Lube. I responded, thanks so much for reaching out. We're thrilled you thought of us. I've copied Jessica Baker from our team, who handles your account. We don't even have an account. I just act like we do. Wondering if there's a good time today or tomorrow for you and Jessica to connect. He immediately responded, thanks so much. I love the prompt response. Tomorrow would be great. And, you know, my dad's a vice president with Mercedes-Benz and heard you speak. Are you really the one answering this lead? I said, yeah, it's me. And who's your dad? Thank God I answered. Now, the moment I copy my account manager, I move away. They take over. Wonderful to e-meet you. That drives me crazy too, but I mean, we all say it. Wonderful to e-meet you. And tomorrow's great for me. I'll send an Outlook invite. I've got time between this and this, and can't wait to connect. and we close 92% of everything we go after, because that is how you're thoughtful. People make decisions by referrals. Who knew who? That, because I did do a program with Mercedes, and this is the kid, and the kid manages one Jiffy Lube, and it was a franchise owner that has 50 Jiffy Lubes and wants leadership training. The reason I get those myself is I want to see, because then I immediately told my team, who's Jiffy Lube's competitors? I want 10 more. Now that I know they're doing Jiffy Lube training, they've got to have Jiffy Lube competitors. And that is how we go after business. So when you think about it, I said earlier, new business development is the key to growth. There are so many new segments out there. When you look at the markets that are growing, you know, the juice pluses, all the different kinds of companies that are kind of out there and doing that online, the multi-level marketing, all those different things. There's so much that has grown, so many associations that blow my mind. So I was on the plane the other day. I talked to everyone. And if you sit by me, believe me, I do respect when you put your headphone on. I don't knock on your shoulder like I do my husband. But I do feel that it's my obligation to say hello and welcome you to the flight. I'm in hospitality. Flight attendants love me because I'm a volunteer air marshal as well, because I'm always checking everything out. So I get on the plane with this guy, and I usually have, I fly every day. So I get my seat that I like. It's an aisle, and he had the window, and I always get up and I graciously help and hold the laptop, because, half of them are coming on with ear pods in, closing a big deal. And I'm trying to help them. And so he sits down, and after he gets done and then the plane takes off, we have a few minutes that we just chat. And I said, so were you flying connecting, or are you flying through? No, I'm actually, that was on my way to, I think it was to New York a couple of weeks ago. He said, no, I'm going to New York and I've got a conference. I said, oh, so what do you do? He said, well, I created this like acrylic footstep. It's like a footprint that for people that do events and they want to be on sand or on rocky, kind of cement, or on, bridges, we put it down so the ladies don't have to take off their heels as they walk. I said, wow. I said, well, I'm in the event business. Now, notice I didn't say training. First of all, when I say I'm a trainer, they think it's physical, like a professional trainer, and then I go, do I look like that really? Just to be serious. So I said, I'm in the event business. I got a restaurant. I said, that's so cool. I've never heard of it. He goes, oh, there's a ton of us. We're going to a big conference. There's all kinds of different ways people do it. I'd never heard of that industry in my life. Now I have their whole list of everyone that joined, right? Never heard of it in my life. I've never even seen it. And I go to a lot of events. So fast forward, I share it with a bunch of people that, I train, and they go, oh yeah, we just used that. It was a beach property in Amelia Island. We just used that. You see, it's like you buy a yellow car, yellow shirt, yellow car, and you've never seen a yellow car. And then the minute you see, right? So when you're looking for new business, you've got to be the most curious individual in the world. And my fear is some of us have gotten lazy. We're not curious. Now, some people might call it nosy. They go, well, you just ask so many questions. Well, people could walk away from me. They never walk away. I'm not asking how much is in their bank account. I'm like, what do you do? Like, honestly, what do you do? I've never had anybody say, I'm not telling you. Right? So finding new segments is the absolute most fun of our job. Handling inquiries all day long, take them, book them, move on. But out of every inquiry comes some sort of new connection. Somebody's mother, brother, sister, right? So let's think about the basics. It takes 6 to 7 times to touch a prospect before they ever become a customer. Most salespeople give up after 3. I can prove it because I can stop in your hotel, pull up Salesforce, Delphi, whatever you're using, and I can see that an inquiry came in March. You followed up immediately. You sent a proposal. You then followed up once. You followed up twice. And by the 3rd time, moved on because you were overwhelmed and busy. So I call all the ones that we sent to. Part of my love of this, okay? I say, hi, my name is Cindy Novotny. I'm with XYZ Hotel. We're following up on, inquiry that you had back with us in March, and clearly we didn't book it. We would love to know why. Do you know how many times I hear? Well, because we had to push back a little bit on when we were going to do it, and then nobody followed up with us. See, do you think decisions are being made like immediately? You know how people like, I need it, I need it, I need it, but then they don't really need it because then somebody in a corporate office says, wait, we're going to wait on that for a month, but you just stop following up. So the next thing on my secret sauce is how I get the client. So once, remember, thanks for reaching out, thrilled you thought of us, what day will work and what time. The next step is once I do get them on the call, I ask the right questions. That's how you shorten up the time. Not just how many people, when you're checking in, when you're checking out. I'm asking those big open-ended questions to get more information. I'm asking, so who else are you looking at? And what other destination? You need to know. So if they are looking at, like the air was the perfect example, okay? Perfect example. New Orleans. I just was there. I've been there twice in the last 2 months. They're like way down on the list compared to you. And yet people think, I mean, I flew direct from Miami last night, seamless, easy. So when you say, where else are you looking? And they say Chicago, or they say San Antonio, you have to know the observable differences between you and those cities. You have to know it. So if you have to have a cheat sheet right in front of you, you have to. Now, do we throw mud? No, we're not nasty. That's so unprofessional. We say, oh, I know the destination well. Not, oh, I love it. I used to work there. Or if I sell here and I live in Chicago, well, I live in Chicago. I love it too. Oh, but I'm selling here. My favorite one with hotels. Oh, you're looking at that hotel. I was married there as well. Oh, well, I'm talking to you about your wedding. Oh, I'm married to the chef. I'm married to the general. Leave it. Leave it. I know the destination well. I know the hotel well. I know that convention center well. You know, I said when I walked in, I'm in every convention center there is. And every one of them, because they were all built a long time ago, is going through tons of change. But walking in here, shiny, clean, crisp, it looks good. They're working to make it look good. And it's not even like all renovated. You see what I mean? Do you know what some of these other centers look like? You can't just look online. You got to ask some of your meeting planners. Service. I've already met several people walking around working here that are actually just working and chatting. Good morning. Not the executives that you see in this room, but like workers that are doing things. I mean, back there, I've seen a couple. They're like, hi, good morning. You have to know who you're competing against. And then you have to sell against it. And the way you sell against it is, I'm very familiar with Chicago. So let me share to you the observable differences between St. Louis and Chicago. You must have at least 3. One could be air, one could be walkability. I lived in Chicago for many years. Chicago's not the same Chicago in the city. So you have to really know. You're not going to say, well, just, their crime's really bad, unless you're asked about your crime. You saw the quotes up there, right? You saw it. So what I need you to do is really know that if you don't have those touch points, if you don't know what you're talking about, you're reaching out just asking the basic stuff. The basics are seriously critical, open-ended questions. So here's a few things on prospecting. In my company, if you haven't touched an account in 6 months and they call our office and don't ask for you by name, it goes to whoever answers the phone. Now, I have meltdowns every day with my team. Some have been with me a long time, but I don't care. I worked my tail off to build this brand. So I expect my team to touch them every 6 months. I don't think that's a big deal. I mean, there's always a national day, a National Donut Day. Have you ever noticed? During COVID, I think every day became a national something, don't you? So all I care about is you send them a note on LinkedIn, you see an article that would relate to them. I'm only asking for twice a year. So if a client that you worked with, and this is going to go back to Deloitte. I mean, Deloitte's had so much fun with us. So we did a huge project with Deloitte several years ago. And it was their hoteling project. So if you know anything about Deloitte, you know that they move people out of their offices and then you have a little wheelie and you go to your client's office and you plug and play and you work in your client's office. And that's called hoteling. And we did all the training at all the different sites. And then they moved a bunch of offices to Dallas and we did all that. So the client loved it. I mean, loved everything. And said, so that's kind of the end of the project. It's like project management, you're kind of done with that project. And so follow up with me maybe the end of the year. So this was like in January, February. Well, the client doesn't drive the bus. We drive the bus. So the salesperson traced it for like November. So in about April, May, a call came in, and I have built the office of love and life for my team. Okay. They have a workout room. I eat lunch. They work out at lunch. I build them. Yeah. Whole thing. They love that Peloton situation. I had to move on. When Big died, I left that whole thing. Okay. So anyway, I hope I didn't do a spoiler alert on that for you. But anyway, so I buy their breakfast and lunch because I'm like a hotel person, right? So they've got an unbelievable kitchen, outside dining. I mean, I've made it so great. If you leave me, you're just leaving me. Okay. So everything's wonderful. So I've got computers in the kitchen all over. Like there's a conference room where we're cubicles, but there's rooms for them to go and they can to do their own calls and that sort of thing. So and I've headsets that you can't hear any background noise. They have the microphone. You can lift it up, lift it down. They can listen to their music. It's wireless. They can be anywhere in the office, answer the phones. So some of my ones that have been with me a lot longer, take the headphone on, take it off, take it on, take it off. Some of the younger ones simply just wear it like all over and just whip the microphone up. So one of them was in the kitchen making a cappuccino machine, with the heart and all that, and making herself a cappuccino. The phone rang and you answer it just like this. See, where some of my other ones, it takes a minute to get that, right? She goes like this. Thank you for calling Master Connection Associates. This is Jamie. How can I help you? The person said, hi, I'm with Deloitte. And, I haven't worked with you before, but I was given your name. Apparently you did a project for us back at the end of last year and early this year. And I'd like to talk to somebody about a different project. She immediately looks into the computer, into Salesforce, sees it literally has not been touched for 6 months, and said, I can help you with that. And takes and runs with it. So every morning in lineup, we do lineup faithfully. I was born and raised with Ritz-Carlton, with Horst Schulze, way before Marriott. We do lineup 8:15 every single day. At 8:15, we all get on. I'm on a Zoom because I'm not there. And we go around. The first thing we talk about is any wins, because a win in sales is a big deal. A win in sales is not just I booked business. A win in sales is like they returned my call. A win in sales is like, oh my gosh, I actually got through to somebody when I was prospecting, right? So we go around the wins, and Jamie says, so anyway, big win. Yesterday, we got an inquiry from Deloitte. Unbelievable. Different project, different, division. So excited. The salesperson that handled the account, her head turned like the exorcist. She literally, what? Deloitte's mine. She said, not anymore. You didn't touch it for 8 months. And this is me on Zoom. Anyway, guys, good day. Way to go. Keep it going. You see, I'm dead serious. When I put the rules of engagement in place, I'm not kidding. You keep reaching out. You keep talking to your customers, and that is going to help you be that much more successful. You got to ask better questions. Lay the foundation. Open-ended. Tell me a little bit about your group. Tell me a little bit about the division. Not, oh, I know GSK. I know Deloitte. I know Accenture. No, I don't know. I know one group I booked. Ask open-ended questions and put everything in to Delphi or Salesforce or whatever you use for a CRM. So critical to that is social selling. And I said it earlier, if you are not present, if you are not connected, you are not relevant. If you don't want your personal life on social media, totally get it. Then set up a separate one for your city, for the destination, or for the hotel, or the restaurant, or wherever you work. You have to be relevant. It is absolutely like beyond crazy. And then storytelling. So you were given so many resources, the stories, the barbecue, right? The stars. I knew the show. I totally forgot about all the people that are from here. Storytelling, you have to be trained how to tell a story. There's always a beginning and a middle and an end. You got to get people excited because we are refocused. This city is refocused. We're rebounding better. The scene, what you have going on, tell the story. Tell everything that you're hearing. Beachbody, when he said they partied like the rock star. So get some examples of that, even if you weren't even involved in that group. And start sharing how we are different than everybody else, because how you sell matters. Your processes for sure matter, but how you engage with people matters so much more. That is so much more valuable. but you have to document this all in the CRM. Nothing drives me crazier than Post-it notes all over the place. And people are like, what account was that? You have to document. So I look at it this way. When everybody's calling you, there's a reason. You're hot, you're cool, you're it. Like, I love when people call, hey, I'm going to the Maldives. Like, where should I stay? I've had people say to me, what do they think, you're the travel agent? I say, yeah, and I love it. Because then I give that lead to one of my travel agent clients and they think I'm a hero. There's a reason people want to talk with you, because that's what they buy. It is a fact. People are sick of everything online. You know, when you go online to buy like a dress or clothes and the little bot shows up, can I help you? I go, no. I'm just looking. And then they go, I can help you. I go, I said, no. Are you a person or are you a bot? Then they answer back, what? People want relationships. They also want insights. Are you on top of what's cool? The trends, what's in, what's out, food and beverage trends, you know, all the mixology, all the cool things, what everybody's doing. Thought leaders, that's what you have to be. You have to put things out there. We've given a lot of consideration to what makes a great meeting work. And in St. Louis, this is what we do. And this is how we do it. You have to be able to show that. That means you think like an entrepreneur. Every single one of you, if you work for a company, just forget you get a paycheck. Pretend you're an entrepreneur. You only get paid when you produce results. You have to have really a clear, positive vision of the outlook and deal with the issues of today. I mean, if we think about it, and that's why when I hear people on my team and they know, they have to watch the news, they have to know what's going on. I don't want them to dig deep into it. I just want them to know what's going on, because I can't have them not understanding, not about politics, but about what might be going on, right? You know, there's a huge heat wave in Europe right now. So if you're calling your client in London, oh, I bet you're enjoying the summer. No, we're like dying here because they all don't have air conditioning like we do. So you could only blame yourself for the outcome. All I'm asking, you don't have to be 100% better in all the areas, just 1% better in a lot of areas. Just turn it up. Go back and look at your LinkedIn. Go back and look at your Facebook and think about, how am I going to scale up? So a couple tips here for new business development. One is look it up in the dictionary. Prospecting. Somebody said the other day, I think that's an old-fashioned word. I said, oh, move on. It's not. It's the probability of success or profit or a source of profit in the future. Ask any independent commissioned salesperson. They're prospecting every day. But the difference between prospecting and selling is when you get an inquiry, you build a relationship, you ask good questions, you create value, you get them excited. But that's coming to us because of the brand, because of the city, because of a company based here. But when you prospect, you're out networking. If I go to one more trade show, when I'm at IMAX and I see all the hoteliers standing around together talking to themselves with their competition, I walk over, guys, hi, how you doing? There's clients here, by the way. Now, half these people don't know me. They look at me like, excuse me, who are you? I'm an angel. I came to let you know that you're wasting your company's money and your time. Break up, get away from your buddies, and go talk to a customer. When we send people to all these trade shows, we don't need you to go and just hang with the people you know. Walk the aisles, go meet the people, go to the cocktail parties, and enjoy yourself and be engaging. So remember, I said 1 hour a day, 1 hour a day for new business development. But this is a 3-hour day, and this is how we look at it. A third. 3 hours a day is new business development, but I only ask you for 1 hour. 1 hour, I want you to literally block out every day. At the end of every day, block out for the hour the next day. It's not the same hour every single day. It's not the same hour. Not the hour of power. Today, I look at my appointments for tomorrow. I go, you know what? I'm going to block out 2 to 3. That is sacred. Nobody bothers you. Nothing happens. The other 2 hours of new business development is organic. Meeting people in the lobby, getting a lead or referral, following up. It just is organic. 3 hours a day is handling all your existing stuff. And then you got to do the work, unless you all have your own secretary. Because I don't. No, on that National Assistance Day, whatever, I send myself flowers. Big bouquet. Says, I write the card, I love you. People go, who's that from? I go, I have no idea. So 3 hours a day, you got to do the work and send the notes. So the easiest, best way is the path of least resistance. I said this earlier. First, start with all your existing customers and start asking for referrals. You know what? I realize I've been working with you for over 2 years, and I've never asked if there's anybody else you know. You will never get no. They may not in their company, but then their sister, their brother. But if you don't ask, you don't get. Then just look at all the new stuff that's out there. So many new companies, and go back to the old. First step is you go online, you look at them, find out a little bit about them, look at LinkedIn, know just a little bit. Then you reach out. You always call first, then send the email. You want them to hear your voice and the excitement. And then you do that initial call. So for social selling, I want you to recognize that there are so many places to go. Even if you go to our website at masterconnection.com, at the very bottom, we have all kinds of websites for law firms and associations and travel that you can look at to go to. There's a gazillion places. But then create the compelling message. Why would anybody want to talk to you? So you saw what Brian showed. Don't use that. We sell. Did you notice the hotel? What they liked about the destination hotel was down at the bottom. Destination first, then our hotel. It's always been that way. People don't buy the hotel, they buy the destination. So use all those resources to be able to hook into them. See where they've been in the past. What did they like? What didn't they like? Find out if you know anybody in their company, if you're connected, so you can reach out. Oh, I see you attended an association meeting in New Orleans. How did it go? Oh, it's terrible. That's from an attendee. Call your sister properties. Many of you work for hotel companies that have sister properties in these. Hey, how did that all go? Well, we did a good job, but there was issues with this, and this. So you have hooks to hook into what they really need. Remember, you call first, send an email second. Follow the ABC rule. Grab their attention, get the body, and then come to the next step. You know, I'm traveling too, so I'll follow up with you in 2 weeks. You know, even if you're not traveling, just say you're traveling, even just to the office. You look busy, right? Make yourself compelling. ABC. Attention, grab it. The body, tell them what you want to do, and then that call to action. Remember, though, referrals make a huge difference. A huge difference. If you don't ask, you won't get. You should never make a cold call for the rest of your life. Ask for referrals. So a couple things on social. Remember LinkedIn. Passive is not what we want. We want you to represent the destination first. So even your about, it should say about St. Louis, then about your hotel. Then the last paragraph should be I. I specialize in corporate business travel, or, you know, the social market, military market, religious market, or whatever market you handle. And then you start to build. You post once a day. Remember your LinkedIn, and you're going to get a little cheat sheet after this, but your LinkedIn has got to have a compelling, real compelling headline under your picture, not just a title. Titles don't mean anything. A good picture, you can take it with an iPhone. The new iPhones are great, but go through and think about all the things you need to update. But once you get them talking, I want you to ask those open-ended questions, and we use the probing funnel. At the beginning, very broad, open-ended, get them talking, and then you move into selling. What did I say earlier about the competition? Every single time a salesperson comes to me and says, oh, I'm working on this account, boom, boom, boom. First thing I say is, where else are you looking? Oh, I didn't ask. Call them back and ask. Every time. In addition, you want to make sure the storytelling is vibrant and robust, really good. Culture, emotion, everything that you have to sell here. I mean, some people work for places that aren't that fun. You have stuff to sell. Just those 5 points of what we're doing for the incentives, those are phenomenal. So you want to remember, when you tell a story, it's from a perspective. There's always a person in the story. There's always a place. There's always a plot and a purpose, right? In every story. So I look at where the story happens. I look at the characters that are in the story, and it could be a client, it could be you. I look at the plot. Why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you because you wondered about offsite. So I'm telling you this because this is what we did with this group, right? And you're telling the story. And then the purpose is you want them to buy. So what do you think? If they're worried about weather, if they're worried about crime, if they're worried about walking through the city, well, we just had a group very similar to yours. And let me tell you what we did with them. And that is the beginning, the middle, and the end. You are telling a story about St. Louis. See, we can talk square footage all day long, but really not that fun, not that sexy, not that cool. Talk about the city, the destination, then the hotel, and get them excited. Remember, features are what you sell. Nobody buys features. People buy adjectives and benefits, what it means to them. And when you think about it, at the end of the day, you can't blame anybody. You can't blame your boss. You can't blame this city. You can't blame your hotel. You only can blame you because it's up to you. When people say to me, well, we really don't need training, I go, really? You might want to work on yourself before you start working on everybody else, right? So don't fly solo. Use all the resources that have been given to you today. There's no such thing as solo. Get a mentor, get a coach, push harder, reach out to me. And believe me, I'm not like a lawyer. I don't even charge you. You know, once you're sitting here, it's all fair game, right? Reach out and let me help you to make that difference, because excellence is not optional. Everybody went back to zero when the rules changed. We are all at the same point of competing. You just have to be 1% better. So if you take a picture of this QR code, it is a tip sheet of everything I talked about, and it will give you the ability to kind of go back and do your own little training within your own little group. But remember, the most important thing is what you do with all this information. You have been given some unbelievable golden nuggets today. And when you think about those golden nuggets, we want to make sure you do something with them. All my contact information's up there. I promise you, and my cell phone isn't up there. So let me give it to you. Write it down, right? That's the office number. 949-500-0559. Kind of James Bond, don't you think? 949-500-0559. Reach out, call, but remember the people in this room are the ones that can also help. So with that, before we open it to Q&A, I thank you very, very much, and can't wait to hear from all of you. Thanks so much. And now let's go ahead with some Q&A. Thank you. All right. Questions?
Questions?
I think there's one more slide. Is there?
Come on, guys, don't be bashful. Does anybody in the audience want to come up and pose a question?
I mean, don't you want to ask me something?
That was inspirational, guys. How about online, Ryan? Do we have any online questions that you want to read back?
Not at this time.
Should I just ask somebody a question? Look at, oh, excellent.
Thank you, Ike. Come on down.
No, they need to do it for the online people.
A lot of leads we get come from various third parties.
Right.
Don't talk to my client, you talk to me.
Right.
To build that relationship and continue it beyond that, first line of partnership is sometimes the first line of defense.
Right.
What's the best way
Yeah.
to get
So,
beyond that?
yeah. So right now, I'm telling everybody, and I'm telling Helms Briscoe, Conference Direct, HPD, HPN, all of them, you're not playing this game with anymore. That's the noise that I'm over. Okay. I will sign NDAs. I will do whatever you want. I'm not stealing your customer. I have to be, if you don't know enough about this client, there are some phenomenal Helms Briscoe and Conference Direct guys out there. And then there's some that don't know squat. They're just fielding leads. They're just sending stuff through, right? So they cannot tell me what to do. This is America. I will do what I want to do. So I'm going to say, you don't have enough information. So allow me to talk to the client. You can be on the phone with me. Now, now if it's Alhi or anybody you're paying for, so any of those, are you kidding? I'm paying you monthly. I'm talking to the client. So you have to, and if you're new and more junior, then get your director of sales and marketing. You've got to have the grit. You've got to have the ability to go, no, this isn't working, because you basically told me sometimes they don't even want to tell you the date, and it should be full disclosure in this world we're living in. I need to know the name of the company. I need to know more than the dates. Tell me where they were before. Some of these people don't ask the right questions, and you can't be at that mercy because you know how much, like, they're also sourcing for other people, right? And then CVent, we know, sends it to the DMO, and then the DMO can send it anywhere they want, right? That's how it kind of goes that way. So just be fair and say, I'm never going to steal your client. I just need to talk to them. So we just got to go. Just tell people it's a wild, wild west. We're doing it different now. Other questions? Other questions? If you don't like the mic, you can yell it and I'll repeat it. Some people are like, I'm not getting up on that thing. Okay.
For mentorship, what are some maybe 2 to 3 key things we should be considering when we approach and we're trying to find mentors?
Okay. Remember I talked about the young ones. Okay. And I have so many young people on my team, and I am finding, so right now, a lot of hotel, like in the luxury world, a lot of people got laid off, and we're seeing a lot of young people coming in from a brand that isn't necessarily a luxury brand, and they wouldn't have got their foot in the door prior to COVID, right? But now we need people. They are so excited and they're so ready. And so sometimes the director of sales and marketing is a little bit overwhelmed. They've got reports and dealing with owners. A senior salesperson has got, trying to just keep their head above water. If you need a mentor, you have to ask for it first, unless there's an actual mentorship program set up in the organization. And the best way to do that, I mentor so many people, is that you say, could you mentor me? Now, you have to have objectives of what you want to be mentored on, right? Some want to be mentored on the actual skill development of a job. Some want to be mentored on confidence. Some are, I'm dealing with a bunch of people that literally are in their second, third career, like they already kind of were going to retire and then COVID hit. Now they've come back into it. I'm mentoring them on how to be more relevant, how to be more cutting edge, what to do. So you have to have when you want a mentor, you got to say, here's what I need, because not all mentors can give you what you need. So if somebody said, I need to be mentored on analytics, I'd be like, yeah, let me give you someone else's number. Isn't that right? So you're not all things to all people. Does that help? Yep. Any other questions? Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. I certainly can. So the question was, I talked about LinkedIn being relevant. And so one of the things, and on that list I put down, you have to post every day. Now I don't want to make you crazy, like, oh, I'm going to have a breakdown. See, she'd already said not to have a breakdown. Here's what you post. So St. Louis, you put something out. I take what you put out and I literally share it, but you don't share with just a thumbs up. You share with a comment, not just a one word, 5 or more. So I add my editorial to something that was put out by the center or the city or a restaurant or something, okay? And I add to that. You look at current articles, you look at Skift, you look at all the different things, and you read an article. Posting every day puts you in that algorithm that keeps you really relevant, but you're posting really fun, positive things. I do not agree. If I was in a different world or you were, we could get into the disputes, and I disagree with you on, like, I would never, what I said about Helms Briscoe, I would never put anything like that out there. I say that to them when I talk to them. I would never put anything out there about third parties. I would talk very positively about partners. So to stay relevant, you have to be posting every day. Now, what you post to LinkedIn, you can still put on Instagram. People kind of argue about that, but I have different followers on different ones, right? So I've got over 10,000 people on LinkedIn following me. And literally, I'll put a video, the most random video. On Fridays, I do a reel of all my travels and where I've gone. I get, like, we're talking sometimes 7,000, 8,000 views. And people are like, oh my God, I love that. Where was that? I'm in Maldives working. I barely put my feet in the sand, and people, I bet you love the scuba diving. First of all, I hate scuba diving. I grew up in the Great Lakes, so I'm no salt, no sharks, no worries. And so I don't say I hate scuba diving. I act like, oh, I did have a couple minutes to just hop in. I don't cut down scuba diving, because scuba diving is everything about the Maldives. Isn't that right? So to be relevant, a new picture, your picture shouldn't look like it was 30 years ago, right? No, I have people, I look at them. Same? I don't think so. Okay. One girl I just did some coaching with, she had her cheerleading picture from college. I said, well, we might want to move on with that. It was cute then. And then that engaging headline, that is like a headline for a movie, not executive vice president, national sales manager, director of sales. That will go down under your experience. The engaging headline should be creating, unbelievable experiences in the heart of the Midwest at the best city for, if I handle corporate travel, social, right? So for, if I'm weddings, I put it in. So when people are doing search words, the summary, remember, about the destination, about your hotel, and then I specialize in, get them excited. If you look at, if you even go to the website, to your website, okay, putting, like you saw my deck that I did with all those pictures, taking something like a picture, and you've got even better because you've got the resources and all of that, and putting that out, and then talking about the baseball game that you just went to, talking about something you just did, the best barbecue you had. Don't really think I can say which one because they're all so good, but here's where I went last night, right? This stuff matters. And video, that and non-curated video, non-marketing video, you in a barbecue restaurant talking to a line cook who's putting out, firing up the pit and saying so, and having someone hold the video, hold it sideways and up and down. And you're saying, so what do you love about St. Louis? And what do you love about this barbecue? And they'll talk like so normal, right? So they'll just be normal. And there we go. And that's why we love St. Louis. Bingo. Stick it on LinkedIn, put it on Instagram, and it will go. That's what goes viral. That's how you stay current. But when salespeople that are not on it, no time for this. And all you have to do is update everything, create, be current and relevant. Other questions? No? Wow. Well. Thank you. Fine. Thank you. Okay. So the question is, with so many people being remote, working from home, sales, and even events, even the event managers that are finalizing, how do you make them feel engaged and kind of part of everything? So I have two schools of thought. This is my only adversarial moment. I think everybody needs to come back to hotels. Okay. We're in the hospitality business. And I think what happened is we got too kumbaya. Well, if you'd rather work from home, that's fine. Okay. I don't want to be Elon Musk, and you saw his email, come back to work or you're fired. Not saying that, but we're in the hospitality industry. So it's really difficult to be in the mood, in the vibe, in the know if you're not there. All right. So I get that it got work-life balance. So I am very good at that because I also raised a child. So I get it. So I'm not saying you have to be in there 8 to 8, because before COVID, that was the problem. We had GMs that were walking through like, what's going on? I don't see anybody working. And it's like, well, it's 7 o'clock. Well, I'm still here. Well, you're the bloody GM. Right? So the difference is now salespeople, catering, conference services should be able to have a life. So that means if I'm in events and I'm working until 11, 12 o'clock at night with my group, because I do have to be there when the group's in, correct? That means I'm not busting it to be in at 7:30 for a morning lineup. Isn't that right? So I think first and foremost, I'm going to do the second part of it. We need to get people back into work, because how are we going to get the corporate people back into their offices? So CBRE, which is one of our biggest clients, is now retrofitting offices in all the major cities, especially LA and New York. Because remember, everybody went to the WeWork model. Let's all be kumbaya. Let's sit at a big table like an oak tree. You know what I'm saying? We'll all work at an oak tree. And I thought to myself, I'd be so ticked off if I worked my tail off to become finally the director of sales and marketing, and now I got to be in an oak tree with everybody else when I wanted that corner office. You know what I mean? So now CBRE is retrofitting all those offices with offices again, like Mad Men. I love it. I'm going to put a little whiskey in the desk. Love it. Okay. Because because of COVID, we don't want to all be jammed together. So we got to look at, if we don't promote coming back to work, how are we going to promote our clients getting back in the offices where they'll do those meetings and use our catering and our restaurants and our food and beverage and create vibrance in the city, right? Number one. But now I'll go to you. That was my own. Sorry, I had to add that. Number two is the answer to your question. First of all, every day when it's virtual, it needs to be a morning lineup and an end of the day lineup. You also have to have rules of engagement. There is no doing laundry in between the day, period, end of conversation. Like this business, you work from home, right? You're there. but you really still need to have a sitter, because what are you going to be on a conference call and the kids are screaming and yelling? No. So you've got to have some rules of engagement. So a morning lineup, end of the line. So we can say, kick off the morning with everybody. Then it might only be a few at the end of the day, just giving a quick wrap up. This is what's happening, right? The other thing is they've got to be involved in all meetings. So if there's sales meetings, department head meetings that they've got to be on, we've got to have the setup so they can see everything and we can see them. So you have to have the right kind of cameras, and they've got to be dressed to go to work, right? So if you don't set it up right, the way you keep them involved is you keep them involved by working. Just because I'm working from home doesn't mean I'm not working, right? So we have to do the one-on-ones. They have to have their open calendar. We have to be able to book, like my calendar is 100% controlled by everybody on my team. They book my phone appointments. They book everything. I literally wake up before I go to bed. I go, okay, we got this, this, and this. So that's got to be very involved. And the reason some of them feel left out is they're not in the hub of like the funness, you know, the in the minute, like someone got engaged. Sometimes we go, oh, we forgot to call Cindy. Well, sorry, she just showed us the diamond this minute. She just told us she was pregnant. We were hugging and kissing and having a cake, right? So part of that, it's not like you have to start getting it back to what it is, but the work-life balance is what was our problem. That is why we lost people, and that's why people want to work from home. Don't make them work 24 all day and then be in for a 7 o'clock meeting. Isn't that right? Have that flexibility. My kid has a baseball game. Can I leave? It should just be yes, of course. Not, well, did you fill out the HR form? You see the difference? Does that make sense? Again, I'm VP in charge of nothing. So if I was, that's how it'd be. All right.
Cindy, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
That was
Thank you,
absolutely phenomenal,
everyone.
wasn't it? And guys, I just want to let you know that this is going to be the gift that keeps on giving, because we've recorded the session. We're going to be sharing it with all of you tomorrow. So be on the lookout. We're going to have a recording so you can play this back and remember all of her pearls of wisdom. And always be reminded that don't be an oak tree. Engage and come to the office and be part of the experience of face-to-face human interaction. Cindy, we have a little gift for you from Explore St. Louis and HSMAI, Missouri. This is an infinity scarf that is St. Louis branded. It is infinite, your energy and your enthusiasm for this industry and St. Louis. We can't thank you enough for being with us this morning. It was absolutely phenomenal. Big round of applause as we close out our program. Thank you to everybody who joined us online. And again, we'll get the recording out to you tomorrow. Give it up for yourselves for taking the time for being here. Thanks so much.